Is that when I manual, I can manual on this bike with no problem. I can't manual it on the manual machine. Hey, what's up there, Drivetrain? It's Dave, and it is a Saturday morning. It's a little cool right now. It is December, early December, but it's not going to be so cold later on today. Now, we've got some great riding to do later on. We've got a jump clinic that my boy Danny Nelson's putting on over at the Gillies Creek Pump Track. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be sweet. We got all kinds of fun stuff. There's also even a Christmas parade going on. So some of the Vega team and a lot of the Richmond BMX guys are out riding in the Christmas parade here in Richmond, Virginia this morning. But I'm home, I've got the kids here, and I've got some ideas that I've been thinking about and kind of stewing around in my head, and I want to build a manual machine. Now, if you haven't seen what a manual machine is, here's a couple pictures of it. You've got one here, which is of a wooden structure. This is kind of the common thing that people do, where they've got kind of a pretty big structure, and it's mostly geared towards mountain bikes. A mountain bike, obviously, it's going to be great to be able to manual on it, but they are big wheels and a lot of leverage. You've really got to commit to manualing on a full-size mountain bike. But you can see the wooden structure here. It's pretty cool, but it's not portable. Now, you also get some other ideas. Here's another guy's, which is just some YouTube video, but you can see the same concept. Something that can hold the back wheel in together, give you enough leverage in the back side of it that it doesn't loop out, and keep it nice and contained. Now, you've also got this fancy tool here, which kind of clips around the wheel. I guess it's got enough weight on the base that he's not, that you're not worried about looping out. But man, the price, look at this. Ooh, it's on sale right now from $227 down to $203. I got $200 for a manual machine, but I want to build this so that the team can practice on it. My wife is getting into gravel riding. My kids are growing up and getting a little older and more experience on their bikes. I want them to learn how to manual, because manuals, if you can manual, then you can bunny hop. If you can bunny hop, then you can jump. And we're going to a jump clinic. And it's just good to know. It's cool. It's awesome to be able to just manual down the street. And so getting that balance is going to be crucial. But I don't have $200. And if you've seen my video previously on the Sprint Block 3000, you know that I love to build things. And so what I did is I went to the metal store after drawing up some plans. All right, so what I did is I drew up some really crude plans, but I had some ideas of a way to build this out of metal, make it foldable and portable. And so I went to the metal store, shout out to metal supermarkets, but I came in with some drops at $40. Now, what's a drop, you ask? Well, they get super long pieces of metal, stuff they use for industrial, 15, 16, 20 feet long, and then they chop them down to what people need. So if somebody only needs, say 15 feet out of a 16-foot piece, they've got 1 foot left over, and that's a drop. And they stick it on a pallet or on a rack, and then people like me come and buy those drops. And they're various sizes, various types of metal, various thicknesses, all kinds of different stuff. And so I just went in. I always go to metal supermarkets. It's right down the street from my house, and I go pick up drops, and I kind of sit there on the floor and I'm looking at stuff and I'm setting it up right and making sure it's going to work. But that's how I've done a lot of my truck work, is I just go buy drops and I get stuff that fits, because it's a lot cheaper than having to buy custom cut metal. So we're going to go outside. We're going to take a look at this metal, kind of get a feel for what I'm thinking and how I'm trying to build this to make it portable, sturdy, metal, so it's going to last, and just a fun tool that's going to be safe to use. So let's go head outside and we'll see what we can find out there. All right, so here's what we got. We got a C channel. It's pretty thick. It's pretty heavy. This is the heaviest piece on here, but I was thinking about leverage, and I wanted to make sure I've got enough weight on this piece to kind of keep everything on the ground. Now, we've also got this other piece of angled stock, which conveniently is the same width pretty much as the C channel. And what I'm thinking is we can have a wheel here, and then the wheel leans up against this, like you might have seen. We'll cut this down to size according to what we need. And hopefully, if I set it this way, you'll see that we can make this foldable, so it could actually fold down like that and then fold up and be usable. What else do we have? We've got the smaller angle stock, which I'll cut in half, and this will go on either side of this bar, front and back. That'll keep your lateral stability from left to right. So we'll just kind of cut it in half, weld those on to either side, front and back, and that'll bring some strength. And then this was just some flat stock that I bought so that when wherever this thing ends up living, I can cut some pieces here, some strips that I can weld on to the side, and I can have a hole in the bottom going through this piece down here, and that will allow the whole unit to pivot up and down. So I'm going to end up having to notch this stuff out on the back side so that it can sit down into the C channel, and will fit all the way down in there to be sturdy against the base of it. All right, so $40 worth of metal, that's what we've got. A couple drops of C-channel angle stock and some flat stock. We're just gonna start cutting and piecing things together. I should have enough that if I mess up, I can actually, you know, trim off the broken stuff or the bad parts and keep going with my new knowledge. But I've got some ideas of how to make it safe and keep it functional, but still make it foldable. The foldable part is the thing that's key to me, because all those other things are so big and bulky, and I want to just be able to shove this in the back of the car and take it with me, and then go have a little session with people and do some training. So let's see what we get. Let's start cutting, let's start welding, and let's start fabricating. This will be kind of fun for the day, and then we'll go to our jump session later on. All right, let's get it. All right, ground out those items. Let's see, I'm just gonna kind of mock it up on here, see how it goes when it lays down. Oh yeah, that's great. A lot less binding. And you can see how it fits on there now too. It just falls right in line. So I like that. What I'm gonna do next is I'm just gonna run the sanding disc on it just to clean all the edges up, round them off. I'm also going to round this off up here. I'm gonna end up putting some foam on it just in case you fall back and if you hit it. I don't want people cutting themselves, but you can see where it was cut. There's a little bit of a burr on this on both sides. So I'm just gonna kind of grind these down, hit it all with that grinding disc. I've got a car coming over, a guy from my church who has a Prius who had his catalytic converter stolen. I know how to do this, so I'm gonna help him out. He's coming over here in a couple minutes. So I think I'm gonna call this a stopping point with this part. After I grind that, I'm gonna cut these down, get these positioned on, weld these on, but you'll come back for the welding of those, and then I'll have to round the edges on this stuff as well. But, all right. See you in a minute. It'll be like 2 hours for me, but like a minute for you.
Tomorrow.
All right guys, so check this thing out. I've just got some temporary Velcro on here, and it is in place. This is obviously the street bike. This is that Chris Childs Sunday BMX bike. And we're gonna test this thing out. The back end is so short on this bike, I should be able to just pop right up and do a manual. But yeah, so in theory, back here, the wheel is now attached to this metal contraption, and the wheel is sectioned in, so you're not going to go kind of you're not going to move side to side, and yeah, you just lean back and, well, let's just see how it works. All right, to start. Get that low butt positioning. Oh. So a lot of people will put a string on here that attaches to the front tire, so when you get to that point, you don't have to bail, but you can actually figure out what it feels like. Maybe we'll add that. Let's try this again though. Whoa! Riding the bull.
Doing the bull dance, feeling the flow, working it, working it.
Yeah, there we go. Best part about this whole thing here we go. Take the bike off. This thing folds up. Take it with you.
Day 2, day 3, day 4. 2,000 years later.
All right, guys, it's a little windy. Hopefully you can hear me. We got kids playing in the background. The sun's actually out. It's not too bad today for me in February, but I gotta wrap this whole project up. I just added some extra metal in the back. It's probably as best as it's gonna get. And honestly, what I don't like about it, what I figured out is that when I can manual on this bike with no problem. I can't manual it on the manual machine. I'm so used to having my legs kick out and my bike scoot out from under me and I catch it, but on this you've got to throw your whole weight backwards. So it's kind of counterintuitive for me. It's kind of just backwards. I'm not used to it. I'm sure I can spend some time on it, and this bike is pretty long and it takes some effort to manual it just out on the road, but even trying the shorter one that I did, that's that Sunday BMX bike, that one in itself is also, it's hard for me to manual because it's so short. But that one I feel like I'm just flying off the back. Now, I could add the string so that it doesn't let the bike come up too far and let you loop out. So you know you've got that safety net to put your butt into it. I don't know. It's just maybe a failed experiment. Who knows? It was a blast to build it. Hopefully you can try something out on your own. Maybe your track or a group that you ride with can build one out of wood or out of metal like this. Have fun, test it out, get good on your bike, and we'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.